All right, guys, make sure this is actually working here. Time for another math lesson. This time you should get your books and open to page 731. This is a lesson that we should be doing basically on Tuesday, May the 12th. So this is translations. The last lesson was reflections. We talk about translations. We'll go through some of the stuff in the book. I'll actually use my board sum, and then we'll go through some of the assignment. Okay. So basically a translation is when a shape is moved from one place to another. It can be moved right, left, up, down, or some combination. Sometimes called a glide. I think you were basically taught to call it a slide. Okay. Fundamentally, so it can be just a slide. Also, you can envision a translation as a composite of two reflections. All translations are isometries. They are isometric transformations. That is, all properties preserved by reflections are preserved by translations. That's collinearity between the subpoints and angle and distance measure. Those all remain the same. So if you look on page 731 at example 1, it says find the translation image of parallelogram PQRS with respect to the parallel lines S and T. So again, a translation can be seen as a composite of reflections. It's called a composite of reflections across two successive parallel lines. If you saw halfway down the page, it showed the mittens. The mitten is reflected over line L, then reflected back over line M. And so basically ends up being a translation. So same thing with PQRS. So basically PQRS is the blue figure in the picture. If we reflect that over line S, that reflects to the green figure, which is parallelogram P prime, Q prime, R prime, S prime. If we then reflect that image over line T, that gives us parallelogram P double prime, Q double prime, R double prime, S double prime, which is a translation of the original parallelogram PQRS. Okay, that should make sense to you. If you have questions, that let me know. All right. So since it's a isometry, the congruence of shapes is preserved, and so we can look at it that way. All right. We can easily draw translations on the coordinate plane if we know what direction we're going. Are we going right, how far, left, how far, up, how far, down, how far? Look on page 733. This refers back to example 1 again, and it says, notice the coordinates of the points. It shows you the coordinates of parallelogram PQRS, the coordinates of the first image, and then the coordinates of the second image. So you would notice, since we reflected down, reflected up, that the X values remain the same in all three images, okay? The Y coordinates have been translated. So many units up, so many units down. And so that's one way to look at it. So if you look at example 2, it says translate triangle ABC with vertices as given, so that A prime is located at the point 3 and 1. Graph both triangles, state the coordinates of B prime and C prime. You'll have to do this on the homework. All right, so the first thing we do is we graph triangle ABC, that's in the picture. All right, and then point A was originally 5 and 4, it's now 3 and 1. Well, 5 to 3 is 2 less, so that's 2 to the left. And 4 to 1 is 4 minus 3, so that's 3 down. So point A was translated 2 units left and 3 units down to become A prime. So all I need to do is do the same thing. So B was 3 and negative 1. 3 minus 1 is 1. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. So B prime has the coordinates 1 and negative 4. C was 0 and 2. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. 2 minus negative 3 is negative 1. So C prime is negative 2, negative 1. All right, we'll do a little bit of this together. All right, so you need to get your homework ready for homework 17, I believe this is. Homework 17 will be number 12 through 29, pages 734 and 735. So get your papers ready. You will need graph paper. So if you want to do all this on graph paper, that's fine, but you will need graph paper. So 12 through 29, pages 734, 735. All right, so you should be able to pause, get everything ready. You're all ready to go, and here we go. So if you look on page 734, it says in the figure at the right, line A is parallel to line B. Name the translation image for each point with respect to line A, then line B. All right, so we're doing a composite of reflections, which should give us a translation. So point 12 is K. So if you look at K, well, K is on line A. So if you translate respect to line A, it still becomes line, it's still point K. And then if we reflect it over line B, then that would make it point R. So your answer at 12 is R, point R. All right, 13, point M is between lines A and B. So if I reflect it over line A, then the reflection image of M would be L. And then if I reflect line L over line S, that should be approximately point T. So point T is the answer. 14, we start with point J. If I translate point J over line A, there really is nothing there, okay? But you can imagine a point. The bottom line is the book answer is point Q. I think the answer is none. You can justify whatever you want to. I think there is no answer in number 14. All right, 15, point P. Again, if I translate point P over line A, there is nothing there to translate to and nothing to come back to. So once again, I think the answer to 15 is none, although the book has point U. You can figure out why it's point U. You can explain that to me, okay? All right, 16, we start with point L. Point L reflected over line A would be point M, and then point M reflected over line B would be close to point S. I think that's a little bit off still, but we'll go with point S, okay? And 17, point N translated over point A goes way off in the distance there, so it should translate way off the distance, so therefore the answer would be none again, okay? All right, got questions there? Let me know. All right, your next group of questions is 18 through 21. It says for each figure in exercises 18 through 21, line L is parallel to line M. Determine whether each red figure is a translation image of the blue figure. Right, yes or no, explain your answer. This will be like the previous assignment. There'll be statements and I'll show you where those are. All right, so number 18. So let's see, the blue figure, if we translate the blue figure over line L, that gives us the green figure. If we do the green figure over line M, that gives us a red figure. So the answer is yes. And this is what you write. And what you write is going to be the answer number 19, if you want to look up 19 in the back. The answer is, it is yes because it is one reflection after another with respect to two parallel lines. So copy that from number 19, okay? And let's look at 19. 19, if we reflect the blue figure over line L, we get the green figure. If we reflect the green figure over line M, we get the red figure. So the answer is yes. And the same answer, which is in the back of the book, if you want to get it, it is one reflection after another with respect to two parallel lines. So 18 and 19 have identical answers. If you can't follow what I'm saying, look up 19 in the back. And again, remember, this is a video. If you have any issues, you pause and figure them out, okay? Or pause and email it. All right, 20. The blue figure reflected over line L gives us the green figure. The green figure reflected over line M gives us the red figure. So this is another yes. The same answer you did for 18 and 19. It is one reflection after another with respect to two parallel lines. All right, 21. The blue figure to the green figure is actually a slide, okay? The green figure reflected over line M is the blue figure, but we didn't have two reflections. We had one translation followed by a reflection. So this would be no. And the answer would be it's a translation and then a reflection with respect to two lines. It is a translation and then a reflection with respect to two lines. That's the back of the book also. You can look that up. All right, here we go. 22 through 25, okay? Let's come back to that. Let's talk about 26 through 29. Then we'll come back to 25 through 22 through 25, and we'll do one of those together. I'll get my board out and show you what to do, and we'll go from there. All right, 26 through 29 says copy each figure on a coordinate plane. So this is for graph paper. Copy each figure, then find the translation image of each geometric figure with respect to parallel lines in an L. So you would draw the picture, draw your two parallel lines. You reflect it first over line N, and then after you reflect over line N, your new image you reflect over line L. So I should see two parallel lines and three shapes on each of those, 26, 27, 28, and 29. 27 and 29 might be in the back. You can check that. They might not. If you haven't learned by now, when it gets to pictures, sometimes the back gets skimpy about that. So that's 26 through 29. All right, let's go back to 22 through 25. All right, and I will get my board out. All right, I got my board ready. You should be ready. So now we are looking at 22 through 25. 22 through 25 says, graph each pre-image on a coordinate plane, then graph the image after performing the translation given and list the coordinates of that image. All right, so you're going to graph the original image and graph the new image, but let me show you the easy way to do this, okay? So in 22, it says segment WX, okay? Segment WX, and W has the coordinates 4 and 8, and X has the coordinates 7 and 5, okay? Turn that a little bit so you can see that better, okay? 7 and 5, all right? It says slide 5 left and 3 down, okay? So here's how you're going to do these. The easiest way, instead of counting the picture. So W prime becomes 5 left, that's 4 minus 5, and 8, 3 down is minus 3. Okay, so W prime becomes 4 minus 5 is negative 1, 8 minus 3 is 5. So W prime is negative 1 and 5. And then X prime would become, let me move it down here. So X prime then would be 7 minus 5 and 5 minus 3, okay? Erase this stuff at the top here. You can back it up if you missed something. So then X prime becomes 7 minus 5 is 2, 5 minus 3 is 2. So therefore, all you have to do now is graph W prime and X prime, connect those, and that's your new figure. So instead of counting, my suggestion is do the math, add or subtract, whatever the differences are. That's how you do 22 through 25, then make sure you graph it, all right? And that's it for homework number 17. See you next video. Contact me with questions.